Okay, so Dubi, you had a question yesterday. I said you should ask, and we'll address it. Dubi, you had a question. Yeah.
Yeah, the question is, we learned yesterday that in every year in Rosh Hashanah, there's this h'tchus where the world is going through a new creation, where in fact Hashem leaves the world. Nistalek Shechina, right, in the little Rosh Hashanah until the Tchilas. What would be the difference between this kind of h'tchus to Mechadesh Betuvoy B'chol Yom Tomid? If every day it's h'tchus, what's the chidush about the chidush of Rosh Hashanah?
Okay,
that's the first question. Right?
Okay, we'll answer that first.
And the follow-up question is,
okay,
when Hashem leaves the world, what does that mean? What level of Hashem is not in this world? I mean, obviously Hashem is here, is always here. Right. What level of Hashem is not with us for that time of these chadshus? And then when he comes back, what new level are we having Hashem in the world? Or Hashem is in the world?
Good questions. Your questions, actually, both questions, Chassidus asks in the Rosh Hashanah Maasecho. So the answer to the first question is, what is the difference between the chadshus of Rosh Hashanah and the chadshus of every day? The difference is that Rosh Hashanah is determined, generally speaking, if you like, the quality, the level of Hashem's investment in the world. And that is a new level of investment. To put that in a simpler language, every year in Rosh Hashanah, Hashem's desire, as we're learning now, the desire is a deeper desire, stronger. And that is the Chiddush of Rosh Hashanah. And that new Ratzin is nischadish every day. It's nischadish every day, that new Ratzin. Then comes the next Rosh Hashanah, and then there's a new level of Ana Emloich. And that's nischadish every day. So Rosh Hashanah determines the whole quality, the whole level of Hashem's investure in the world. That's determined. It's nimshach beifang, like the head. Rosh is the head. The whole chayis of the body's in the head, and then it comes down to each aver, every limb, according to its level. So each day is ischadshus in terms of the ivarim pratim. Each day is ischadshus, and each day gets what? This new chayis that the Eibishter allotted, invested, opened up on Rosh Hashanah. So every day is taki ischadshus of Hashem's investment, but what investment is Hashem? What level of Ratzin is this year Hashem revealing? That's determined in Rosh Hashanah. The second question, which Chassidus asks also, how the world can't exist if Erev Rosh Hashanah by candle lighting, that's when it starts. Hashem withdraws his Ratzin for the whole B'riyah, and we have to be mamshichet michadash. And when is the hamshachas tkiya shofar? Also the shaila, what happens on Shabbos when there's no tkiya shofar? So Shabbos does it, and it's beikah through the psukim that we say malchis, echenes, and shofaris. But at any rate, in a regular year, but the same principle applies to every year. So how does the world exist? It can't exist if Hashem is not invested in creating it. The answer is chitzonius haratzon versus pnimius haratzon. In other words, what's chitzonius haratzon? Chitzonius haratzon means that I don't want this per se. I want this because it'll lead to something else. Pnimius haratzon means this is what I want. So that's the difference. That Erev Rosh Hashanah, it's chitzonius. Hashem keeps the world growing, and He's creating it every day, every moment. Ma'ayin liyesh, from candle lighting till tkiya shofar. But it's only his chitzonius haratzon, waiting for the yid to ma'ida him, the ratzon lemlucha, to really want creation, and that nisava, that this desire, anno emlich, is the same thing as nisava kadosh baruch hu lisadir b'tachtonim. It's basically the same thing. So Hashem is waiting for us to order this desire deeper than ever before. So he's keeping it going just for tomorrow. In order that it should come tomorrow and a year should be ordered him in a deeper way than ever before. Our avodah has to be deeper in order to be mamshich Hashem's response also accordingly deeper. So it says in Kabbalah, and Chassidus brings that tzaddikim that can see, that have eyes that can see, so the whole existence, Hayom haras olam. Hayom haras olam has two meanings. Today is the birthday of the world, and Hayom haras olam, today the world trembles. The simple reason the world trembles, Yom Adin, so everybody's trembling. The deeper meaning of how trembling is because the world is being only al t'nai. It's trembling. It doesn't have a real kiyum. Hashem's pnimis dikadotz is not invested yet. It's misroifef. Everything is very external, very delicate, all pending. It's an engagement that's pending. Tomorrow, isn't
the birth on Chofei?
Huh?
Isn't the birth of the Olam on Chofei Elul?
Is it the birth?
The birth of the world.
Yeah, so therefore the world is
reborn. Yeah,
so the world is reborn. What? But we learned there now. The Tchilas is the shleimus of the kavan of Ana Emloich is dafka the sixth day when Admo is created, because he is.
The world sort of lives in the pre-Admo state.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. That's correct. So in other words, the world from candle lighting, from Lichtsinden, Erev Rosh Hashanah to Tkiya Shofar is like the world before the Marishan, from Chafei Elul to Adam Marishan. Hashem created it, but I don't want the world. I want a relationship with you. So I'm creating the world because you're going to come along and make it meaningful for me. It's not meaningful for me. It's chitzonius. The world becomes meaningful when you are part of it and you make it a dinner for me. Then this is my home. Otherwise, it's just bricks and mortar. Just trees and birds and bees and elephants. Okay, yeah. Good questions. Again, Chassidus asked the questions. That's more or less the answer. Now, Ois Beis, it's at the beginning is technical. I want to move through it a little quickly. And Ois Beis begins to understand this whole Indian Ba'imik Yosef. So we started to learn that he brought the pasuk Arei Mimcha Elokai Hamelech. I exalt you, my God, the King. See, taiches, the word. This is critical now to get this, because this is the whole formula which the Maimers are going to explain. The whole mitzius. Arimimcha means there's levels of exalted. There's levels of higher. Arimimcha means reimemus atzmis, essential exaltedness, as opposed to relative exaltedness. Look at the third line of Ois Beis. Shalomayle bein aroich mebchinas reimemus v'isnasus al nivroim. We don't just mean beyond creation. That's not true reimemus. That's a relative to creation. So there's a level of alikus that's beyond. That could also be called reimemus, but that's not what we mean. We mean that which is not exalted compared to something else, compared to creation. No, we don't mean that. We mean reimemus atzmi is the Eibishter's exclusive exaltedness, not in comparison, because there is no comparison to anything. Because there is no comparison. This will be explained in the Maamer at length. Now, what level is this? So what is this reimemus atzmis? Our first address would be Atzilus, which is utterly beyond creation. Bia olam ha'achdos tahirihi. The pasuk says, "Lo yigur chara," no evil can touch you. Goes neilam Tchilas. Al-Teba couldn't even say Tchilas. Atzi, and he couldn't write it either. Aleph Tzadik Yud stroke. He says no, not Malchus Tchilas, and not even Chachma Tchilas. Now that's what we're up to. I know, but the number 19 in the text. When we say the Reimemas Atzmis, what are we referring to? This essential exaltedness. Before we go further, just to give a little bit also of a kind of a sense. There's two kinds of aristocratic people. Someone is aristocracy. There's a nobility about the person. So one is relative to others. When you see him engaging with the others, then you see that this person has a nobility, aristocracy. But then there's a level of aristocracy. It's not about the way he relates to others. It's etzem being. It's not just the way he talks different to other people, and his engagement with other people is in a more dignified way than most people. That's the way. That's the low level of Reimemas. Then there's a Reimemas, Isnasus Atzmis, that the person is essentially aristocratic. It's unrelated completely to the relating to anybody else. It's in the privacy of his own being. It's in every detail of his life, not just the way he engages others. In every aspect of his life, it's beyond, it's aloof. It's something different. Something different. Just in the simple way he walks. Before he's not talking to anybody, he's nothing. The simple tnuas, Yisrael was Atzmis. The only marshal that I know is the Rabbi for that. So, okay, that's some kind of sense to make this relatable. Let's continue with the mind. But what darge, what inyan are we talking about? So the number 19 in the text is base. We're talking about mishtal. Now, what does that mean? That's going to be fine-tuned. It's going to be honed. Taking us probing deeper. Not only hide in Malchus, that's also big chiddush. Malchus, that Tchilas belongs to the world of the Creator. But that's related to creation. We don't mean that. Even hide in Chachma, Shireishas Ha'tshkos. And we don't even mean that either. Now, Keser is transcendent, but Chachma Shebekesser, we'll soon see the end, it's Pnimis HaKeser. He's taking us to the levels. Higher than Chachma Shebekesser, Shegam Hi B'chalal Yishtalshalos. That too, in the end, is part of the divine system. And we're talking beyond system. Like the Ramez writes, Pirush on the Zohar, Atzilus, which I've already said is part of the system, it's rooted in Chachmas Timah. Now, Chachmas Timah, that is Chachma Shebekesser. But what level? Because Pnimis Chachmas Timah, as we'll see, the Chayr that comes out, Pnimis of Chachmas Timah, hidden Chachma. Fundamentally, we had a whole maamer on this once, I won't repeat it. The different levels of Chachma. But the Pnimis of Chachmas Timah, that's Taka Atik, and that's what we're talking about. But we're going to get there. So it's not, we don't mean this external level, which is, it's still part of Kesed. It's really the lower level of Kesed. We're talking in general, the level of Arik. Chachma Stimba, the Chitzonis of Chachma Stimba, the external level of the hidden Chachma, that's the source of the manifested Chachma, which is Tchilas, and therefore it's Bechlal Tchilas. Since it's the source of it, it's part of Tchilas in the big picture. So we don't mean that level either. If you say to Mizeh Shagam, Chinis Chitzonis HaKeser, the external level of Keser, moreover, since it's a source to Ishtalshel, that l'chayda, it comes out that Chitzonius HaKeser is even higher than the Chitzonius of Chachma Stimba. So what is Chitzonius HaKeser? It's already the realm of Ratzon. Chitzonius HaKeser is Hashem's Ratzon, as it relates to the levels that come from it. Friends, we're just getting the geography and we're going further. So Chitzonius HaKeser is a traceable source to Ishtalshelis. Makar means, generally we mean makar here, keyword, traceable source. Atmos is not a traceable source in the sense of you look at this and it just tells you something about Atmos, tells you nothing. That's what traceable means. But a traceable source means you look at the result, you have an appreciation of what the source is that produces it. And if it's traceable, it means that's a shaykhis. We're talking non-traceable. Reimus, visnasus of Elikus. Kidua shebechinis chitzonius hakeser nimni b'minyan asviras. The external level of Keser is sometimes counted in the Sviras. The 10 Sviras we mentioned yesterday. So sometimes Keser is counted. If Keser is counted, Das is not counted. If Das is counted, then Keser is not counted. Which level of Keser are we talking about that would fit in? That is Chitzonius HaKeser. Therefore, conclusion. The level of Chitzonius HaKeser, the external level of the Keser, it's traceable. It's only relatively beyond. It's beyond the Ishtalshelis, but connected. Again, keyword, traceable. It's not a level that's essentially beyond, which you can see no connection between the source and what it produces. So how did it produce this? Because it chose to, but not that's what it is, and it will produce. Again, the artist producing art, there's no choice. That's what he has to produce. Atmos is not an artist. Atmos is not a creator. And it's not what he does for a living. It's what he chose to do. So where is the true Reimus, which is Reimus essentially beyond, not relatively beyond? So I don't want to oversimplify matters, but this is we speak about the previous maamer. Creator is beyond creation, but not essentially beyond, because a creator will produce creation. Reimus or atzmis, essential exaltedness, means God beyond creator. And where's that expressed? But pnimius hakeser. This is Pnimis HaKeser, V'ubchinas Atik, and that's a level of Atik, and the word Atik is Lashon Ataka. Atik means removed. It means ancient, and it means removed. Removed, we mean here not relatively removed, fundamentally removed. Again, not traceable. That's the two words you have to bear in mind. You'll understand what's going on. Shenetak v'nivul legamri mikol yinishtalshelus. Pashut, God should have pleasure and desire in your and my behavior that is fundamentally impossible, not traceable. It makes no sense. So how is it? Because that's how he chose. That's not a traceable source. That's B'chiras Atzmos. And B'chiras Atzmos, that this Ave he should desire to have a dir b'tachteni, which is me and you, that's Reimus Atzmos. What gets that going? His choice. And where does it come from? His very being that is beyond. So there's two words. There's beyond and beyond. Tchilas is beyond. Chitzonius HaKeser is beyond. Pnimius HaKeser, that's That's beyond. Shalachein, therefore, he concludes, it's never going to be counted in this virus. It has no shaykhus overtly with ishtalshalis. Gewalt. So this is now the taich in the pasuk. Arimimcha alekai hamelech. So a yid is connecting to the true roimemus of the Eibishter, which we just said. What? His primius hakesa, the inyan atzmi, the taindog atzmi of the Eibishter. So that now begs the next question. Really? If we're talking etzem, in a move in mal inyan arimimcha, I will exalt you. Ain't nothing higher, friends. What does it mean, arimimcha? The mashmal, the roimim will akbil amayla. We're going to elevate the level of, as it were, pnimis hakesa to where? There's nowhere to go, friends. Pnimis hakesa, that's it. This is the Eibishter's nisava. This is p'chiras atzmos. Concluding the question, since we're speaking about the essential being of God in simple language, he's not relatively removed. He is fundamentally removed from anything. And whatever he does is just pure choice. There's no hard wiring on any level there, not traceable. By traceable, I mean giving us an inkling as to what the source is. That's what traceable means. So the question is, what does it mean to elevate this, to elevate the level of what? Of this nasus atzmis? Not possible. Question's clear. But the matter is as follows. The Pirush Arimimcha, it's quite an amazing thing, but that's the fact. Here, Arimimcha means not to go higher, the opposite. Mamshich, down. Lahamshich, Prinas, Roimimus, Atzmis, Melamayla. The text in the pasuk is like this. It seems. Arimimcha, it's a statement of fact. Du bist merumam be'etzem. I will draw you down, touching your level of my avodah, because that's what you want. And you've empowered me to do this. It's imamshich, you and your pnimius atainuk in creation. Arimimcha means I'm connecting to this level of roimemus and being mamshiched into the world. That's taich arimimcha. Yeah. So far. Let's go further. So the aleph is arimimcha's two words. Ani mereimem oischar. Arimimcha ayid is a shayches. Piliploim. Not really, but that's ayid as a shayches with the reimus atzmis. Boom. It's a given. What's the avoid? Mamshich at the mat. Inside the mind. I know that God's essential being, the true eye of God, again, not beyond creation, but beyond. That this Eibishter should be revealed, drawn down, revealed down here. That's the kavanah. That's the nisava. Chaf pshuta means a straight chaf. At the end of the word, the chaf becomes not bent. There's a chaf kfufa. That's a chaf round, and a chaf pshuta is straight. What's the thing of straight down, and it goes below the line. Hamshacha lamata. Shemoid al hamshacha damata mata. The chaf at the end, arimimcha, is to draw you down the mata, below the line. The line being separating kedusha and the opposite of kedusha. As he goes to explain, the avodah now is B'chinas haroimim misad atzmo. Hashem's essential state of being, B'chinas helev hester, is completely concealed from anything. What does exalted mean? Separate and removed, revealed, not relatable, not can't experience this. God's essential being is closed and hidden. The kavanah is no, mamשיך and reveal that the world should now be privy to God's essential revelation. Shegam bahem yumshach b'chinas haroimamus. In creation should be revealed the Eibishter himself, as it were, this essential, exalted, removed, period, fundamentally from everything, should be revealed liyos meir begilui, to be revealed in Olamus. That's one pirush. Hamshacha what? Milamayla lamata. Ba'oit pirush. Okay, we're learning together now, friends. Bari mimcha lekai hamelech. That this is more. Second pirush is more in accord with the simple meaning to raise up. Bari mimcha, I will exalt you, I will lift you. What's that mean? Till now we spoke about Amshachim Lamayla Lamata. That's the Chav Pshuta. But now he teaches, it's not a teach, it's another aspect of the Avodah. Sho'inyan halo milamata lamayla. But now, another pirush is there's the Avodah of ascent from below to above. Now explaining that Vahainu Shebchinas Eloi Kai, my God, Elika Sheli. The Shem Elikim is the one name of the Eibishter that is associated with people. My God, your God, his God. That means obviously the Eibishter is becoming betzimtzum to be related in, and Elikim is Melashon. Elikim is a Gematria Teva, and Elikim means a judge. It means gvul, hakbolas, boundaries. Elika Sheli kebeiz hapirushim shebazeh she's ba'di l'kamat barichus. Oh. We're going to get two pirushim in the Lekashali later at length. So what we're getting now is that there's a lower level of Elikus expressed in the word Elika, my God, this personal God tailored to my existence. I have to elevate Yisraim and Yis'aleh. Now we're doing something for the Almighty himself. Excuse me. We have to elevate this level of the defined godliness. This is all to be explained. Elevating the defined levels of godliness to the reimus ha'atzmus, the totally beyond levels of elikus. So already this got an amazing thing we're reading here. First pirush is Mamshech Davish himself in creation. Second pirush is within the divine itself, we are somehow bridging a gap within godliness. Now, does that ring a bell somewhere, friends? For you? Is it just an association? I give you a hint. You're going to say it soon. You're going to say it soon. Mamash, this thing of unifying within the divine. Yep, the Sheimicha is generally that Inyan. Generally, I don't want to put words in the mind, but that's the general Inyan. Let's continue with the mind. Yeah, Kuchebricho Shchinte. Kuchebricho is the exalted, and Shchina is the indwelling and the unity. In general, this Inyan here. Obeys in Yonim Elu, continuing now the Maimer. So these two, what two? You tell me, what two? What are these two things? Yeah, no, it's not a mystery question, no. Damshochim l'mayla l'mata, yes, and Aldiyim l'mata l'mayla. Nasa the Adam Marisha Rosh Hashanah, Adam Marisha affected that the first Rosh Hashanah of history, the dawn of creation. Let's see. The outset of creation before Admo came along, God's exalted being was completely concealed. Even though it all came into being with the word of Hashem, the heavens came into being. With the spirit of his mouth, all of the hosts, all this was concealed. So the first thing he does, he drew down and revealed and made the world know that there's an Eibishter. And then he also affected that the world should be engaged in this process, not just revealing the Eibishter, but making the world acknowledge this. Elevating all of creation, all this to be explained in the Maamer to follow. He called upon all of creation on the day of his creation, and he said, Boyu kam nishtacheve v'nichra nivrecha. We'll bow down and bend and bless. Lifnei havaya yisene, before God, our Maker. Of course, we say again every Friday night, because that's when it happened. He called all of creation to join him in his acknowledgement of God and praise and blessing. What's that? That's the elevation to the Eibishter as he is. So this is all the outline, friends. And now Leis Gimel begins with Bira Inyan, the two Pirushim in Elikai. Wouldn't it be wonderful, but that the luft wonderful that you, me, will come to Tchilas with the Maamer in the head and then maybe in the heart. And Rosh Hashanah in the morning, think through the whole Maamer, learn the whole Maamer. It would be wonderful. Okay, continuing the story.